Yeah, hello and welcome to a new episode of our weekly Spielworxx chat. My name is Uli Blennemann. I'm having two guests today, Mo and Lyndon of the Cost Design team. And Brian, unfortunately, he has to work right now, but we will surely not forget him. So, first, Lyndon, how are you?
I'm doing good. Hope everything's going okay with you.
Yeah, so yes, I have to talk to you guys, so it's okay-ish right now. So no, everything's fine. How are you, Mo?
I'm good. I'm good.
Excellent. And here are the first people already in the chat. So we have Chris. Greetings to the UK. Everything hopefully is okay with you. And we have Rainer from Munich, Germany, and Claude from Quebec, Canada, already here. So excellent seeing you. Today's topic is, and you probably guessed it, the cost. So, and I'm putting the ad right here at the start. There aren't that many copies of the cost left. So, the BGG store this morning, German time, had 54 copies left. And here in Europe, I have a lot less copies left. So if you are interested in this wonderful game, so please get in touch with the BGG store or with my website. Okay, let us start. Maybe with some personal background. Mo, uh, let us know who is the person Mo?
Who am I?
Yeah.
I guess I'm a board game guy. Love board games. Been into board games for a very long time. Also a graphic designer and heavy metal music enthusiast.
So
That would be about it.
as a punk rocker, and but I'm not now, but I hate metal, Mo. If I had known this before, so so
Shut the podcast off.
no, everything's okay. And we have Daniel, and Daniel is saying yes, he is not too late today. So hello, Daniel, that's all right. And we have Snooty Crunch from Florida. So greetings to Florida, of course, as well. And but Mo, you're getting support from Rainer. Metal is great, he's saying. So yeah.
Awesome.
And Lyndon, please tell us something about you first.
It's a pretty similar story. I've been playing games almost my whole life. I've been in and out of board games. Also playing, I had a stint playing Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
Love the video games too.
Mm-hmm.
Occupationally, I'm a welder out in the oil field, so there's not too many of those type of guys that's in the community, I guess we'd say. But
Mm-hmm.
here I am,
Yeah,
and hooked up with Mo a few years ago, and we've been playing games with each other ever since.
that's fantastic. And by the way, if you have a comment here or would like to ask a question, please do so and put the question in the chat window. I guess we might respond to the questions. Maybe. So, but how did you start designing? Did you start designing the cost together, so all three of you, so you plus Brian, or separately, or did you design some other games before, or was the cost your first conscious design effort?
Well, I had been designing games for a long time. I designed them as a child, but of course those weren't very good. But in the '90s, I guess after playing, we used to play Magic all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We got to play Catan, and that kind of changed our life back in '95, '96.
Mm-hmm.
And so shortly after that, I wanted to design. At that time, we called them German board games. They weren't
Yeah.
Euros.
Mm-hmm.
They were just all from Germany. So me and Brian were designing games back then. We designed like five or six, and we didn't really do anything with it. And then I don't know, there was a resurgence for us back in 2009 or 10, and we designed several games between there and now. And I guess you saw several of them, I think. But that's, I guess, the story is that I've kind of been in the design thing for a while, longer
Mm-hmm.
with Brian,
Mm-hmm.
and I started designing with Lyndon probably around 2010 or so.
Hmm. So
maybe.
also a very long time. Lyndon, do you want to add something to this?
I don't think it's been that long. Have we known each other 10 years now? I think it's
Yeah,
only
I
been
met
like six.
no, I met you in 2010, I think, or 11, or
Oh, nice.
maybe
Maybe
not. I don't know.
15 or 16 or
Yeah,
last
I don't know.
week.
Yeah,
We
maybe
just
last.
started by playing a bunch of games together, and eventually he's like, "I made some games." I'm like, "Well, let me check those out,"
Mhm.
and I kind of led down that path.
Mhm. So how long was the design process and specifically of the cost? How long did you design this game? And in addition, I'd like to ask at this time, did you get to the cost by theme first or by mechanics? So what was first there in your process for that game?
Well, I would have to say our whole game group is mostly mechanics. We're
Mm-hmm.
mechanic first type people,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're designing a game, you can't really for me, I can't design just a bunch of random mechanisms. So it was theme first, even though we're mechanism people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think the idea of doing an asbestos game was just kind of an off the wall comment one day. I mean, I'd always been interested in the material,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I just offhandedly said somebody needs to make that game. And I did a lot of research and came across documentaries and started learning more. And then I became fascinated with the idea of what was going on with Canada and what they were
Mm-hmm.
doing with asbestos. So it was all theme. As far as how long it took, I would say what happens is I'll come to the game group with an idea, and then I'm very persistent on trying to play that idea, and then
Mm-hmm.
we'll work on it, and then I'll leave and then come back. So during that design process, a lot of things are being added by the group, but usually I'll go home and work on making, because I'm a graphic designer, go and try to work that out and maybe change a few things and keep bringing it back.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the cost, I would say in my head it was there for maybe a year, but when we put it on the table, it took maybe a month to actually have something that is similar to what we're playing now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same, but it's similar.
Mhm. So would you see your collaboration of all three of you, including Brian, is that Mo, you do the initial design, and then Lyndon and Brian, you do more design plus initial development. Is this correct, Lyndon, or how do you see this?
Yeah, it's like if we're making something, I see Mo more as the hammer being the driving force, and I'm more like the anvil.
Mhm.
I'm what he's striking against to shape what ends up.
Mhm. Interesting, you see. So, although being the anvil sometimes can be difficult, but as long as it works in your group, that's fine. And for a second, let me put in the my publisher's perspective on the cost or how I got notice of the game. So I saw the game first at HeavyCon 2018 in Denver. So, and I had the pleasure to see it, and I think I played it, or it was just explained to me. But you could immediately see that there is something, but I did not knew enough. And then in this summer, when we are having our Mallorca editing event with all the editors from companies, I took the game for testing to Mallorca, and I tested it, and the reaction was really from the other editors and testers was lukewarm. And I do not fault these editors because these are all great people. But normally they are playing and testing games that are totally different. So, but after that event, no matter how the tests, how they went, I signed or you signed the contract, and from there we moved to the production of this year. And why do I find is the cost special or so special? So because I think that the cost, your game, your brilliant game design, does not frame the perspective of the players. And there are no layers between the players and the topic of the game. Because in the game, as you just mentioned, you are the head of an asbestos company, and your goal is to make money. Was this a design decision right off from the start, Mo Lyndon? Was this in there right when you started working on the game?
From what I remember, yes, it was there from the very, very beginning.
Yeah, it was there from the moment Mo brought it to me. Uh, the very first thing was you're an asbestos company and the goal is to make money.
Yeah, this is fantastic because sometimes I like to when we are having conversations, and of course with you it's mainly by email. Sometimes I like to provoke. So at a certain point, I sent you an email. I don't even know if you remember when I said, well, we need a mechanic in there where people or players who have less dead workers in the end that they get a benefit. And I was very interested in your reaction. And the reaction was very quick and very clear. No, no, we don't do this. And this was the answer that I love to hear. So that was really fantastic. And I did not know that it was there right from the start. So really fantastic. Before we get into this, I have to say hi to Matt Wolf, the designer. I'm seeing him here. And Matze, Spieletreffenverteiler, is there. So excellent seeing you. And Daniel is making a nice comment. Hammer meets Anvil. That is a very metal answer. Yes, it is. So well put. And another comment from Snooty Crunch. It is such a unique theme. Great job. It is pretty funny to see the reaction when I've told friends what they are about to play. Yes, sometimes when you describe the game, when we still could do conventions, some people are quite surprised. And Matt is saying, I'm so glad Uli is admitting how devious he is. Now I know how to interpret his emails. Danielle is saying, now I just assume that every question is a trick question. No, it is not. But sometimes I love to say so. So, but going to this, and now there is maybe an interesting question. Mo Lyndon, so an asbestos producing company must be evil, right? So how do you see this? An asbestos company, a producing company, this must be an evil company, right?
I would say no, and I would question what is your definition of evil if that's your approach. Um, if you are running a company, there's a lot of ways you can run it, and a lot of it you have to decide how to run it morally, or what are you going to do.
Yeah.
It's really on the in real life. It's if you run a company, you have to make decisions, and some of those decisions are profit and some of them are worker. And in America, in our society, I am used to that decision being, well, money over everything, workers next. And we kind of designed our game that way.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think, Lyndon?
Yeah, it's along a similar vein. I wouldn't say it's inherently evil. There's very few things that are inherently evil. It would be in, what are you going to use the product for? How are you going to go about obtaining it? And what kind of information are you going to put out with the products? As long as everyone's informed and everybody's taking steps in order to maximize safety, then I wouldn't say it's just evil.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just so I wanted to provoke an answer here again. So, but I'm on. I think it's the same thing. So, a company, if it's producing asbestos or books or tabletop games or whatever, a company is not evil. It's, I'd say, an asbestos producing company because you know what you're producing, or especially in the last 30, 40 years, you know what you are producing and what the product results in. It's amoral. I'd say this. It's definitely an amoral thing, but it's not evil. And I think the game, what is so important is that the game isn't pointing with fingers. This is evil. You don't do this. You have to do it in this way. I think this is a very, very important thing in this game, and I'm very glad that you designed it in this way. This made it really special. But I think we have to repeat this, and I'm not sure if this is an American thing, because of course America is often is doing it first, and then so-called Western countries are following, and it's basically the same thing over here. But you mentioned money and then workers, Mo, before, and I would follow up here. So in the game, if you do not know this, you are mining and milling asbestos in up to 4 different countries in the game. But you could ask, what is what are the workers doing? What is the population doing in this game? And why, Lyndon, is the population? Why aren't the workers in this game? Why aren't they playing a larger role? So why didn't you depict them in a big way?
Oh, I'm,
Or Mo, do you want to answer? I don't want to put you in a corner here when you do.
I'm not really sure what we're looking for. I mean, the workers mine and the workers mill, and the game isn't really asking much more of them.
Mo, do you have an answer to this
Uh,
stupid bloody German question?
I think when you're the head of the company and you're, let's say, you're just, it's like looking down just in your books. You're looking at um, how can I maximize profit, and when you're looking at it from that perspective, you have to look at the output of your workers, and you're not really looking at, the population, or you're not even really looking at much else other than I need this amount of workers to produce this amount by the end of the day, and we have to cover these costs. And I think the perspective was supposed to be from that angle,
Yeah.
that we're managing a company.
Yes, and I think both of your answers are very well. So when I played the game first, so as I said, we are having 4 fantasy countries, but we're having the whole countries, and you could put or you could add everything to a country. First thing is, it would be mechanically so complex that you don't want to play it. But in my opinion, it's important that the workers don't have a large role in this game. They are there to work because this is what the CEO of the company, you, the player, are asking them to do. And that's their job, and nothing more and nothing less. And this game isn't telling you a glorious story of some of our tabletop engine building games of how the markets are regulating everything themselves, so self regulating markets. And there is no trickle down effect so that the workers are getting some money and are getting richer. No, it's not there. This is not the topic of the game. And this is another, in my opinion, very strong feature. And Daniel is saying not much free will for workers in a factory mine, right? And not even, and they are human machines. And I 100% in agreement with Daniel here. And it's not even so in this factory or in mine. The workforce in most countries have not a huge importance, and that's what it is. So this is another great factor that there are the meeples who are the workers and they do the work. You need them. So otherwise you can't mill and you can't mine, but that's about it. And so it's another great thing. And to start and to continue here in this vein, so is the cost fun? And is fun a good gaming term at all? So but is the cost fun to play?
This is good for Lyndon right here. He likes to talk about this.
The act of playing games is fun. I don't know if you could say any particular game is fun in and of itself. The playing of it is fun.
Mhm. Mo, do you want to add to this, or do you want to hear my stupid
Uh,
thing? No, please go ahead.
I'll just add that we all define fun differently, but the problem is when we communicate to each other and we say fun, I am not thinking about what you think is fun. I'm thinking about, what I think is fun. So if I think trick taking games are fun and you say this game is fun, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be like when I play my trick taking game. So fun is just very subjective word, and it's really damages our hobby in a lot of ways until we can get on the same bandwidth
Yes.
Right.
and
I've run
understand.
into a lot of problems with like my game group, we play games, and other game groups, they'll play games, but we probably aren't playing games for the same reasons. Like when you talk to someone and they say, well, I just play games for fun. That's not why I play games. I
Yeah.
play games for the competition. I
Hmm.
want to battle against my friends, and in doing so, I have fun. But that's not the reason I'm doing this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I would say, first, and Daniel is saying the same thing here again, fun is so subjective in the chat, and it is, yeah. And I would say, yeah, the cost is fun, but I don't like the term fun, as you said, Mo. So I don't think it's a good term in gaming. And we can also get back to Cole Worley because, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks or months before, and he was saying in an interview, games have this massive emotional range. Why would you want to make the game just about the giggles? And this is exactly how I'm feeling. The cost is a serious game, but it's still, I think when we are playing together, Mo, Lyndon, me, the cost, we will have fun for lack of a different term. Although I wouldn't call it fun. So, but I think this is what it is here. But so now we talked about the topic, backgrounds, and all this, and we are moving to the genre of serious games. So although this is a wide open field, what is a serious game? But I would say the cost is a serious game. It is a successful serious game. But to be a good or successful game, and not only a serious game, you need to have strong mechanics. And especially in a serious games, and some serious games are like this, you want to play them only once because they are a study, and then you have enough because you said, yeah, they want to tell me about this. I've seen it done. But in my opinion, the cost is mechanically strong, and you can play it 5 times, 10 times, 100 times, and it scales very well. So, what are the special features? And we are now talking about mechanics here of the cost. What are special mechanics? Lyndon, do you want to start?
Oh, I can talk more about the replayability than the mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
I might chime in a second. You want to go ahead, Mo?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I would say one of the big things is that even though the game looks similar every time, it's very modular. Just the way that we did the action grid, it looks like something very simple, but that you can win and lose the game based on how you choose. If you're all playing it, if everybody's at equal level, the game is really played on the action matrix. Your first actions and later actions, even just by blocking players, you inhibit their abilities. So, and every game's going to be different because of the way that that looks. So that was one of the big things I think,
Mm-hmm.
as well as having so many different, for lack of a better term, routes you can run, a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of different styles you can experiment with.
Mm-hmm.
And in designing the game, like Mo mentioned earlier, we're more mechanic players
Mm-hmm.
than theme players. Now we started the design with a theme, but it's obviously very important to have good mechanisms. None of the mechanisms are there to justify the theme. All the mechanisms justify themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Scaling, I love it in this game that you can play it very well with two because you have just two countries, 3 and 4, and I think the action mechanic alone. So this action board where you're selecting your 3 actions for your next player turn. This is brilliant and very very well done. And I remember the game I played, I think with Chris and you two guys at BGG Con last year. And of course, I played the game a couple of times before, but then Lyndon and Mo showed me how to play the cost. And really, and I was, oh, you can play in this way because and maybe you want to follow up on this. You mentioned this briefly. This is also a very strong logistics games, right? How to run your routes. So was this already pretty much from the start in there, or did you? Yeah, please go ahead if you want
Yeah, the the logistics of moving the asbestos was there right from the beginning. The very first time I saw the game, Mo brought me a piece of notebook paper with some circles with lines between them, and he's like, "These are countries, and they're going to produce asbestos, and it's going to have to move." And so the movement of the product was very important right from the beginning.
to.
And
And I
we're both
think,
big fans of Age of Steam, so
Yeah.
that
yeah,
that probably played a hand in there somewhere.
I think also we said, we have to make paths to victory. And even though the paths could be integrated, you have to either you there had to be a way to just play logistics and win, and just mine and win. I mean, you can mix that together, and that was part of it. But there definitely had to be a logistics to win the game, and that was early on. That was a big discussion.
Yeah, almost every decision and change and whatnot that went into the game, we would always ask, is the safe path to victory still open to those players, or is the transportation only path to victory still available? And so it was important to keep all these different ways of playing the game open and viable.
Yeah, this makes it really special because it has the action selection mechanism, which is pretty much unique in there. Then you need to decide, do I mill, do I mine, do I both? But always you have the question, how do I get my stuff to the target place? How can I move it? And you can even be very careful to not spend a lot on mining, on milling, but you're saying, well, I run the business here, so I bring the asbestos to the mill. So this, I think, makes the cost also very special. Let me briefly go back to the chat window. And yeah, basically, Daniel and Matt are saying that they agree on the fun term, on the problems, although Daniel is saying that he would like to introduce the term wolves, so Matt wolves for as instead of fun, so we can measure it like this. And he's saying the cost sounds like it provides 14.8 wolves. So I'd say you're wrong. It's at least 16 wolves. So that is my. So it must be it must be damn good. Yeah. Snooty Crunch, pick up and deliver games are usually not my favorite, but love how it works in this one. So this is a huge compliment if you're not liking pick up and deliver games normally. And Daniel is also saying that he's loving the unique action selection mechanism. Um, there is Claude. Claude, what I'm looking for in a game is not necessarily fun, which is difficult to define, but rather an experience in another reality defined by the game. Games allow us to be a CEO of a big company during the 18th century one week and colonize Mars in the following week. And I think this is very well put, and that's why we gamers love to move to different eras in time. So it or we are sitting suddenly in different chairs, and this is always exciting. So, Lyndon, Mo, what else are you designing right now? So, what are you cooking up at this moment?
Okay, so I am working on a game that has to deal with the Middle Passage, and I don't know if we're going to try to publish it or not, but I know that it's something that it's a very difficult topic to work on, and it's a very sensitive thing to do. So I don't know if it's something that's publishable, but I know it's something that I really want to bring to the table because I think there's a lot of history that is for lack of a better term, whitewashed or not really explored,
Mm-hmm.
especially in games. And during the current time, it's really difficult to bring up such a subject, but it's more the reason to do it,
Mm-hmm.
I guess,
Yeah.
because it's not acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Lyndon, what are you working on, or together? Are you working on this game together with Mo?
Yeah, I'll be working with Mo on whatever he brings.
So you are again the anvil. Ah, okay. So it is it is what the hammer is bringing. The anvil has to
Yeah,
take. So
it
yeah,
would it would probably take an act of nature to get an original idea out of me. I'm more of a of shaper.
yeah, but this is most important. So I'm not. I try to. Of course, everybody in this industry probably tries to design games, and 99% simply can't do it because it's a special thing to design successfully. So I can't do this. So we will. I would like to finish this episode with three quick questions to both of you, and really three quick answers. So no long thinking. And we'll start with Mo. And the first question is: who is the most influential tabletop game designer?
Right now, I would have to say Cole Early. He's definitely very influential.
And Lyndon, your take?
Oh,
Quick answer.
yeah, I'd probably be in the same way.
Okay,
If we're
so
talking
yeah,
about just influence, then yeah,
yeah.
he's blazing a trail.
Okay, so I don't really have to ask why. If you had brought up a designer I'm not that familiar with, I would probably ask now why. But yeah, Cole, of course, if you look at his recent games and game designs, yes, I would definitely agree here. So, second question, and I will be beginning with you, Lyndon, this time. What is your favorite tabletop game of 2020 so far? Because the year isn't over.
Oh man, probably have to be Barrage
Mhm.
if that come out this year. That might have come out last year.
Yeah, but at least I think the German edition called Wasserkraft is coming out this year, so you are fine. So
Oh, okay, there you go.
definitely okay. Mo, what is your favorite game of this year?
That's pretty tough. I would have to probably agree with Barrage was really good. I'm really interested in trying Bonfire to check that out. Um, but I haven't got to play a whole lot of new things
Yeah,
this year because of COVID.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I also liked Grand Truck Journey. That was great. That was fun.
Claude,
I just
so
haven't.
mhm.
There just hasn't been a whole lot of games hit the table.
Yeah, that's. I think this is really a problem for all of us. So many games are. The output is somewhat reduced, but it's still huge. But nobody has the time and to play all this stuff or get it, or maybe just get it on a virtual table, which is totally different from your normal table. Yeah. And of course, there's a final third question. I'm beginning with Mo. So, what is your favorite hockey team, Mo?
The Roosters, of course.
Yes, and Lyndon, what is your favorite hockey team?
The Dallas Stars are really good, but I hear them Roosters could put up a fight.
Yeah, of course. So, and I even saw last year the Dallas Stars. I saw them live playing the Winnipeg Jets at BGG. That was a great game, and they won. But I'm really blown away how popular the Iserlohn Roosters are everywhere. So we had the two guys from Portugal saying that's a favorite team. Last week it was Elizabeth from Maryland, favorite team. Now two guys from Texas, favorite team Iserlohn Roosters. This is outstanding, astonishing. Yeah, but it is what it is. So, do you have a final? So, this is for the chat. Do you have a final question here? So, Snooty Crunch is saying Grand Trunk Journey is wonderful. Somebody is mentioning Hartford Whalers. So, go away, Daniel. So, uh, and Snooty Crunch is saying Barrage drives me bonkers, and I have stunk up each play, but I will play it anytime. It is a very interesting and special game. I have to admit, it's for me. I'm coming more from a theme point, and that's why also why Bonfire It's not my type of game. I play these games, but it isn't. But Barrage, or I have the German edition Wasserkraft is a very very good game, but I like to have a little bit more of a theme in my games. So and
I don't even remember what the theme was.
yes, you see, you are, but at least I won't mention anything because you are a Roosters fan. So all is good. But Rainer is asking me a question. What is your favorite 2020 game? So, and I said this topic is quick questions, quick answers, and I need to think about this for 5 minutes. So I can't comment here. Um, and again, we have Matze. He mentioned this last week already. Hockey Bietigheim Steelers. This is second division in Germany, so don't bring this up. So it's not good here to talk about this. So, but getting back to this, and let's now really wrap it up before I finish. I will briefly bring up the URL for the interview of Dan Thoreau of SpaceBiff off the cost, because you may not really believe us, the two designers or two of the three designers and the publishers, that the game is really special, but there was a review, and I would briefly put it in the chat window. So if you do not already know it, you can at least read it later. So that's up there. And Lyndon, this was really a pleasure talking to you. And in my opinion, at least, it was also an interesting talk. And thank you really for your time. And hopefully, maybe late next year, but hopefully in 2022 we can meet again in person. We will down a few drinks for sure. We will play a game. We won't talk about metal music. So
Oh,
this is out of the question, and yeah, that's what it is. And next week we will have a regular Spielworxx chat episode with me talking about some Spielworxx and industry news, and I will probably make also an announcement because I will talk about the 2021 lineup of games. And so, to everybody, thank you for your time. And if you would like to talk about a topic in advance, so please drop me a mail, and so that I can bring this topic up. And my mail address is uli@spielworxx.de. That is uli@spielworxx.de. So till next time, bleibt gesund and Black Lives Matter. Bye bye. Bye.